Hi guys, so today I'm going to be doing a book review video. I have 7 books this time. They were mostly just okay books this time around, so I'm going to get right into it. Now this is a series that I really want to get all the books in the series so far, or maybe that's only it, but there's only 6 books in the series. This is the first book in the series. It's The Long Quiche Goodbye. It's a Cheese Shop Mysteries by Avery. Ames. This is what it looks like. And it's about this woman who she owns this cheese shop with her grandparents. And what happens is this person dies during her grand opening or something of this cheese shop, or grand reopening. And this arch rival of her grandmother's thinks her grandmother did it. And she really wants, because her grandmother and her grandmother's arch rival are bidding to be the next mayor for this town, and so she's trying to get her grandmother out so that way her arch rival can become the next mayor. And it was a really good book. Now I like books that when the main characters are sassy in them, but there's a line between sassy and obnoxious. But this book was just okay. I think this other one, I think this is the one where I was like, okay, this girl's getting too obnoxious, the protagonist of the story. So this is As the World Churns. It's a Pennsylvania Dutch mystery. It's by Tamar, I think that's how you say it, Tamar Myers. This is what it looks like. And this is about a woman who she is a Mennonite. I think she's either a Mennonite or she's an ex-Mennonite. And she comes from a long line of Mennonites. And they're people who, they're kind of like the Amish, except when they go out, they can wear I guess regular clothes like we wear, and they can use electricity, that type of thing. So what happens is this woman, she's there's gonna be this big cow contest, this Holstein contest in town, and her friend, when she runs this, I think it's out of her own house, this B&B type of thing where they can get the real Amish experience if they wanted to. They have to pay extra for that. They are all there, and she finds out during this time where they're doing dinner that her friend, I think he's a vet, he ends up getting hurt, and she's trying to figure out who did it and why. And it has a surprise little twist in the book, which I think is funny, because towards the end of the book, when this starts happening again to her, I keep saying in my head, oh my gosh, she's blah, 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 blah. And then it turns out I was right. So this was a really good book. There is recipes in between some of the chapters. They're mostly ice cream recipes because it deals with cows. But that was a good book. I really liked it. Like I said, the main character in this book, it's borderline on obnoxious, to be honest. So this is a book that I think it's a classical literature book. This is a book that I wanted to read for so long. And when you have a book that you really, really, really have wanted to read for so long and you finally get it, because you can't, the bookstore that is near me, a real bookstore, not a used bookstore, they went out of business during COVID, so I can't get books there anymore. And I know they have classical books at this bookstore. But anyway, it was The Great Gatsby, and I never seen the movies, I never read the book. I just know that it's set in the 1920s, and it's this glamorous thing or house or whatever, and Leonardo DiCaprio's, and I knew that, but I never could read the book. I never got it. And then I got it, I think this was at Target, and I remember, like I said, when you really, 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 for however many years, wanted to read a book, and then you finally get it, and you're kind of disappointed because you're like, this is what the whole fuss of this book was about? Like, really? It's like I said, it's by it's The Great Gatsby. It's by F. Scott Fitzgerald. This is what it looks like. And basically it's about this guy who goes to Gatsby's parties. They slowly kind of become friends, and something happens in the book with this girl that he likes, but she's married to somebody who really doesn't treat her right. And stuff like that happens in the book, and then this crazy thing happens, and I don't know. I mean, to me, it wasn't like a classic literature book. Like, it just read as like a regular kind of book, everyday book. I don't know what the big deal was. Like, I read it, I'm like, why is this a book that people think is like the greatest? You know what I mean? Like, I thought it was just okay, to be honest. Like I said, it was a book that I really wanted to read. I think I was supposed to read it in high school, and we never got around to it in my English class or something. I don't know. But this book is The Essential Oils. It's a guide for using aromatherapy in your everyday life. And I don't know how you say the author's name. Hold on. It's like Iside, Sarmiento. I don't know how you say her name. I'm sorry if I butchered it, but this is what it looks like. I got this book at Five Below, and this is where, like, I feel like it's like everybody went through a fad of essential oils, and I feel like I was the type of person where, like, I think Christmas, like 2 or 3 years ago, I got a diffuser, and I used it, and I feel like I was at, like, the later end of that fad where everybody liked essential oils. Now, some people used them, you know, the way you're supposed to. Some people I watched only used them to just make their house smell good, you know? But I liked them because I liked the fact that these oils could help you. You know what I mean? Like, aromatherapy could help you, that type of thing. And I would always see the, like, aromatherapy stuff at Bath & Body Works all the time. I always wanted to get one, but they were never on, like, a sale. They were always excluded from sales, all that stuff. But I really like this book. It goes through, you know, like, the history of aromatherapy. It's a small book. Like, I finished it in, like, a day. There's only, like, 119 pages in it. And it goes through what aromatherapy is. It goes through a base oil type of thing, like an almond oil, avocado oil, that type of thing. And then using a carrier oil, which is like, you know, like your lemongrass, your lavender, that type of thing. And then towards the end of the book, the last section was like recipes of like things to use, like around your house, your pets, like what to use when you're sad or you need like a boost, a memory boost, that type of thing. I really like this book. Like I said, like I like essential oils. I haven't used them in a really long time, but I wanted to get a book about them because I was like, I really wanted to learn more about these and like what their properties were about, that type of thing. So this book is another mystery book, and this is called Murder at the Academy Awards. It's a red carpet murder mystery. It's by Joan Rivers and Jerrilyn Farmer. This is what it looks like. And the two main characters in this book are kind of like Joan Rivers and her daughter, Melissa Rivers. It's about these two women who they're at the Oscars, and they work for this TV channel or TV company, and they think this is like their last red carpet, and they need like something exciting to happen for them to be able to stay on the air and be able to do this for more seasons. And this girl who knew the main character's daughter, she ends up coming, and she's only wearing the bare minimum on the red carpet, and she's like acting weird, she's acting funny, and here she dies next to the Joan Rivers character. Max, that's her name, Max, and her daughter's name is Drew. And they have to figure out what happened to her because, you know, she was only 19 years old, she was young, she was nominated for an Academy Award, and they want to know what happened to her because she was Drew's friend when they were in school. Like they were friends, but they were rivals for each other. That sort of weird thing. But it was an okay book. I mean, I feel like mystery books shouldn't be more than 200 pages. Like, if they're 299 pages, like, whatever. But, like, when they're 300 plus pages, that's where I'm kind of like, did it really have to be a 300-page book? No. There was some stuff in this book where I feel like, a mystery should be, like, fast-paced. You know what I mean? Where, like, that's why it should only be, like, 200 pages. Because I feel like if it's more than that, they just draw it out throughout the whole book. And you're like, okay, like, I get it. And I feel like it's like they could have just written it quicker and shortened it. Because some of the chapters, nothing really goes on in the book, which I hate in books. This next book, it was just okay. It was borderline between I didn't like it and it was just okay. It's an historical fiction book. This book is called Mrs. Lincoln's Dressmaker. It's by Jennifer Chiaverini. I don't know how you say her last name, so sorry about that. Like I say, I butcher people's last names all the time. And it's about this woman. She was a slave who earned her freedom. She bought her freedom. I think that's what it was. Her and her sons. And in the beginning, the chapters are divided into months/years, and the longer the year, the longer the chapter. And I feel like this book, it was kind of like, it didn't have like a real good flow to it. Like, I feel like when it got into a flow, that's when like the author would bring up like important things that happened in the Civil War, because it takes place during the Civil War. And anyway, it's about this woman who she used to work for like these famous people. She used to work for Jefferson Davis. He was the president of the Confederate States, wife. And then eventually, when the war started to happen, she ended up getting noticed by Mary Todd Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln's wife. And she comes to make dresses for her. She comes to like where she helps out with the kids. She's basically Mrs. Lincoln's like confidant. And it goes up to when this woman died. Her name was Elizabeth. And it was an okay book. Like I said, like there's a lot of it where like I feel like they could just edit out some of it, because most of it was good. Like it had like some facts about the war. This woman was real, but then in the back it says people didn't think this woman was real and she was fake. Something like that. But she really was a real person, this Elizabeth woman. And it turns out that, like, she wrote this book that the press, the editors got to, this publishing company, and they put these letters from Mrs. Lincoln in it, and they weren't supposed to. And she never got a chance to, after that, like, Mrs. Lincoln didn't correspond with her anymore, and she never got a chance to, say her piece, apologize, that type of thing to her in person. It was like I said, it was an okay book. It was like borderline. Like there was a couple times during the book where I was like, do I really want to read the rest of this book, or do I want to just stop? You know what I mean? Because it was to that point in the story. And this is a scholastic book. This is like a book for like elementary school kids. But I got it, I think it was at like a farmer's market, a flea market. It's called Dear America, The Great Railroad Race. It's by, it's the Diary of Libby West. It's the Utah Territory in 1868. And, what was the name of this book? Some of these books, like this book and the Essential Oil book, the authors weren't on the front of the covers, so I have to look into the book to see who wrote it. It's by Kristina Gregory. This book is like a really easy read. It's just in diary format. It's about this woman, this is what it looks like. It's about this girl who, her and her family, her dad's like a printer, like a newspaper person. And they end up going to Utah. That's like their end goal, to catch up with the railroad race between the two railroad companies, where they were going to meet at a certain point in, I think, like Utah or something. And it's just like her little story about her growing up. They were traveling, and all these things that happened in the book, and all these things that happened like when the trains were coming, about how her brother almost got hurt by a train, how she fell in love. I think she was like almost like teenager-ish age, where she started having feelings for this one guy and stuff like that. And then in the back of the book, it tells you a little bit like this was an actual person, and who she married, and who her brother married, and what happened to her parents and herself, all this stuff. It was another historical fiction book, and this happened obviously like a couple years, I think, after the Civil War, that type of thing. There was something in this book that was like kind of upsetting to read, probably to some people, or it would probably have your kids question like this part of the book. But anyway, these books were just okay. They weren't like anything that nothing in this thing said wow, to be honest. They were just all okay. I'll see you guys next time with another book review video. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.